Hi! In this short demonstration, I will show you exactly how to do a full head all-over haircut using only scissors, with a simple, straightforward, and easy-to-follow method. Hopefully, by the end of this video, you will understand all the basic techniques that can be applied to any haircut or style. For this haircut method, you'll need only the most basic haircutting tools: a quality pair of sharp scissors, a comb, and of course, a sprayer bottle. Start with the sides and back. When cutting with scissors, always remember to keep the hair slightly wet, as it is easier to cut. Firstly, we need to cut a guideline. This is simply an imaginary line from nape of the neck up along the occipital bone to where the head begins to curve. The length you create here will be a guide for cutting both the sides and back. Place the comb against the nape of the neck and lift the hair to measure the length you want. Then simply trim off the excess hair that extends past the comb. Remember to keep your scissors and comb moving continuously to avoid creating steps in the haircut. Follow the natural shape of the head, and once you have achieved a consistent length along this segment, your guideline is now set. From this point, you simply work in segments parallel to the guideline around the back and sides till both sides of the head are finished. Each time you start a new segment, simply include a little bit of hair from the previous cut segment as shown here. You need only cut the longer hair to match the length of the previous segment. Best practice is to keep the lower scissor blade parallel to the comb, and all the cutting should be done with upper blade. Don't go too high, as we need to leave a little extra length on top for blending. Moving the comb against the grain of the hair growth ensures you always get a nice, precise, and clean cut. Keeping this consistent technique, work your way all the way around the head, and when you reach the sides, try to keep it even about the temple area. Moving on to the other side of the head, simply repeat the same technique, cutting section by section. Don't forget to wet the hair as necessary. The next step is to clean up along the edges. If you're cutting the hair of a child who simply cannot sit still, it's probably best to use clippers for this part. But if you only have scissors, the best method is to comb the hair downwards, then slowly and carefully trim off the longer hair up to the hairline. Don't cut too far into the natural hairline, just carefully trim along the edges. Just make sure when trimming around the ears to cover and pull down the ears with your hand to get a more accurate cut. It's always better to do this step nice and slowly. When cutting across the nape of the neck, be sure to stand directly behind the person. It's much easier to make a nice straight horizontal line this way. Remember also to check that both sides are even and level. Once the back and sides are done and you're happy that everything is even and neat, you can move on to the top section of the head. Again, don't forget to wet the hair, as that will make it much easier to cut and shape. First, you need to cut another guideline, this time from the forehead to the crown, the center of the head. Again, the length you create here on top will determine the way you approach the rest of the haircut. Cut the hair to the length you want between your index and middle fingers as before, following the natural head shape and working towards crown area. Remember to leave the hair a little bit longer around the crown. Your top of the head guideline is now done. From this point onwards, simply cut in sections next to the guideline on either side of the head. When starting each new section, again, always take a little bit of hair from the previously cut section, as you can see here. You need only cut the longer hair to match the length of the previous segment. Move to the other side of the head and repeat the same technique, cutting section by section. Make sure to keep the hair as wet as necessary so it remains easy to cut cleanly with your scissors. Next, blend the top section of the head into the back and sides. So again, make sure to keep the hair combed and wet. Lift the hair outwards from the scalp, perpendicular to the head, while keeping your fingers in a vertical position. This allows you to see the different lengths of the hair along the blending line. Here you can see a little bit of the clipped hair below and the longer hair protruding above it. By holding the scissors vertically and cutting the longer hair off, you can get a smooth blending between layers. Always be careful of the scissor tips when cutting close to the hand. Repeat this process working your way around the head, segment by segment, and gradually trimming down the longer top section hair till it blends seamlessly with the shorter, already cut hair of the back and sides. Try to cut a little less than needed, even if this leaves the hair a little longer than the desired length. You can always repeat the process to cut the hair shorter. Next, trim the bangs. Combing the hair forward, use the point cutting technique in order to get nicely textured bangs, positioning the scissors sideways to achieve the proper angled cuts. But remember, wet hair shortens as it dries, so be careful not to cut too much. For safety, always keep your fingers between the point of the scissors and your subject's face. Next, styling and finishing. Firstly, be sure to comb out all loose hair and trimmings. Dry the hair thoroughly with a hairdryer or a towel. This will give you a better idea of the final look of the finished haircut. You can then finish the look by using your preferred styling product. And you're done! Good job! Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this haircut tutorial and maybe learned something new. Make sure to leave any questions in the comments below and give this video a big thumbs up if you found it helpful. Remember to subscribe and click the notification bell to be notified when I post new content. Thanks for watching. Join us again for more tutorials.